Blaze Olive is a player that I've been seeing around in the scene for a couple years now. He joined the academy scene maybe a year after I did. I'm pretty happy for him that he's finally getting his chance, and it's going to be fun to match up against him in the actual big league. The majority of the new players coming in have been understudies for the LCS players. I learned a lot of things when I first joined the league from Froggen. I think Blaze Olive had a similar experience, but under Bjergsen. It's a really challenging time to be under someone so great like those two players, right? You kind of have a feeling that, you know, you're not going to replace them, but you also have this feeling that you need to just like drain all the knowledge that they have and put it into your own brain.
I learned a lot from Bjergsen. He was incredibly valuable, not only in the game, but also outside of the game. I think a lot of people have a misconception about how Bjergsen plays and thinks about the game, but from my experience working with him, he's always been very open and adaptable to playing everything, which is kind of the way that I want to play.
Nicely done, the trade! Oh! Blaze Olive finds himself first blood.
The thought of like going up, it didn't really matter to me. I understood well that it's not going to happen, that I'm going to replace him.
There were times where, man, I hated the guy. I just wanted nothing more but to just start over him, you know? But at the end of the day, I was getting clapped by him all the time, so I kind of knew my place and I waited for my time, you know?
Damonte, he used to play a lot like Froggen, but I think now he doesn't play like Froggen at all. And I think that just goes to show like his improvement over the years and his, you know, ability to create his own playstyle that works best for him.
Now they're looking though with the TF. And TL's battle lines were completely broken. It was 100 Thieves starting it up. It was 100 Thieves pushing the pace.
My matchup versus Blaze Olive, it's going to be fun. His playstyle at the moment kind of reminds me of myself, so I think I have a lot of edge in that way where I feel like I'm just a better version of what he's doing right now.
You know, it's fine for him to think that way, but he has his one playstyle that he's good at, but isn't necessarily a better player than me. Now I have the same training grounds as him, so I think that this is like an invaluable opportunity to improve my skills, and I'm really excited to see what kind of player I turn into. It's just a matter of time before it's clear that I'm better than him.
The Blaze Olive by the double kills, he solos out the TSM jungler.
Blaze Olive 100% deserves it, but I just want Blaze Olive to know that he'll probably never be better than me though.
I mean, that's what they all say, no? They all think we're never gonna beat them, and then they lose. I think for Damonte, he's going to feel like he's a better player than me and that he should do more than he should in the game, and that's going to punish him.
Once we load into the game, it's no mercy. We got to make sure he knows his place, you know?
Y'all are back! You just heard Damonte's thoughts on his fellow mid laner and former protege of Blaze Olive ahead of game number 3 here, where struggling Golden Guardians must face off against 100 Thieves.
I really like the little banter the two had. Respect to each other, also recognizing their skill, but yeah, back on the 100 Thieves. Yesterday was a rough game against TSM, and the criticism is always, yeah, Damonte can't play control mages, Damonte doesn't control. I think that's a load of bull crap. I think it's crap. Because I think that what happened here is 100 Thieves is playing a really difficult composition. So here was very early on, though, when they actually have the very easy to execute global with a lot of hard crowd control. So it's a lot simpler for 100 Thieves to pilot these compositions because there's so many engage buttons. Here against TSM though, Jace, Nidalee, Senna with a Tom Kench and the Syndra is just a poke comp that is really difficult to execute. Most other LCS teams wouldn't even be able to pull this one off. So I think the 100 Thieves just drafted really hard, and we even saw from the coach tweeting out, draft diff. So I think that Damonte is fine on control mages. It's just when they pick these control mages, it's often in a very difficult spot.
So you just want to see them go with a composition that has easier buttons to push, as opposed to requiring everybody to land all the poke constantly, having to have the perfect rotations. We want to see something that is more attuned to the NA environment of wild and crazy games where you can just go in when you need to go. Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, let's see if they can do it then. We got Pantheon, Camille, Udyr, and Renekton all banned away, so plenty of respect being paid up towards the top side here so far. Graves also banned out. That's one you don't see on the ban table too often.
It's because Iconic has really been liking it, but Graves as a champion really struggles because you need the whole team to play around you. And so you need to not only be on point as a jungler, you need to be on point farming, team fighting, but the whole other team needs to be willing to play those champions. So you must have practiced them. And it's going to be the Olaf for closer as a first pick. Doesn't give away much of what Golden Guard or what the whole composition is trying to do, but Golden Guardians immediately respond with a lot of meaty crowd control, a lot of magic damage, and being able to kite around the Olaf. Olaf has a hard time dealing with the Lilia. Not only is she really fast, but even a champion like Gragas, unless you're directly on top of him, he has a really easy time popping your ultimate or just getting away from you.
And remember, the Gragas is a flex pick, so we aren't 100% sure where that one is going yet. But 100 Thieves are not really concerned about flex picks. They just want the top of the table, the best that the meta has to offer. So they will lock in the Kai'Sa, they will lock in the Rel, they'll have that next to the Olaf. Both of their solo lanes still remain to be picked. And over on the Golden Guardian side, we've got the jungler picking back and forth between a couple of different selections here. The Twisted Fate still available. You'd love to see Blaze Olive, on something like that, but the Tristana picked up. And I know Azael has been talking lately a lot about this pick because he really likes it, what it can do in terms of pushing, what it can do in terms of playmaking, how safe it is. The champion really seems to have it all, and I expect we're going to be seeing a lot more of this moving forward.
I really like Tristana in this spot here because 100 Thieves likes to play the TF and the Galio. So great into it, like Azael says, pushing the turret, being able to not only cancel anybody from your ganks, but rocket jumping a lot of the CC away from you. You can run cleanse. So on the red side as well, it makes it even trickier for 100 Thieves because you could always put it into the bottom lane. Same thing with the Gragas. So taking advantage of red side really well and not going to give away a easy time for Damonte to find those realms. So we'll see what they favor here. And I think that this is actually the game for 100 Thieves to play a control mage and start practicing that style, because I think part of it is them trying to expand themselves. If they're claiming to be the best team in the league, you best believe the best team in the league is going to challenge themselves with a difficult composition against a tough opponent like TSM. So here, against Golden Guardians, even though it didn't work against TSM, I still think there's an opportunity here to experiment with it and not give us more of that flavor that you know you can really pull off here. 100 Thieves, we know if you pick Galio, yeah, you'll probably beat the Golden Guardians. But if you pick something else, maybe you can get some better practice.
Well, we've got Alistar, Yone, Syndra, and Gnar all band away here in the second half as Sivir is immediately locked in for the Golden Guardians, so that one will be going in the bottom lane. She doesn't really have any flex capability. And over on 100 Thieves' side, they'll lock in the Aatrox for someday there in the top side. And what will the last pick be? Need to see a mid laner here for Damonte. What will he play into a Blaze Olive here in this match?
I think the blind Orianna is fine here. It works with the composition. I really would like to see it. You know you can play the Galleon, the TF. Thank you. This is the match to try these new styles against Golden Guardians. So I like that we see it here. Great synergy. We've already seen what the Rel and the Orianna can do together from the side of Team Liquid. So maybe Huhi and Damonte can team up and get a big wombo combo here. Last pick, though, on Golden Guardians. Is it top? Is it support? I think it will be top. Oh, sorry.
No, okay. We've got the Janna locked in here. Now, I'm thinking that theoretically the approach to this is Rel takes 3 years jumping through the air to crash down and land her CC, so just yeet a tornado out there at her, make it so she can't engage so easily. We'll see how well that works in effect, because looking at this on paper, Kai'Sa Rel versus Sivir Janna, forget being in the same tier on the list. They're not even on the same list or on the same piece of paper. Kai'Sa Rel has been dominating League of Legends here for a while now, and Sivir and Janna are both still champions in the game, and that's about all I can say for them. So for this comparison, it's some scary stuff.
Kai'Sa and Rel can go in, right? They can actually engage. When you ask Sivir and Janna, go in, start a fight. They cannot, really. They it's press R.
Sivir yells and runs fast.
Fighting, so it's really tough. It's not actually the first time we've seen Janna this year, though. FlyQuest did play Janna into, I believe it was Rel as well in the lock-in tournament. Did not look good, though. Not a lot of playmaking from that champion. So a lot of the game is falling onto the hands of the utility of Lilia and Gragas, and then the carries to keep a distance. So high difficulty on the composition of Golden Guardians, but maybe it's what they needed to put themselves in shape to beat this 100 Thieves lineup.
And so we were talking before about this, about 100 Thieves previously drafting a comp that didn't have enough go buttons, that didn't have enough ease of execution. How do you feel about this one? Because this is looking like a very standard, traditional team fighting composition. You got Kaisa, you got Orianna, we got an Aatrox to jump in there. Things are looking good for these guys, I think.
I love it. I think this is a classic look. This is clearly what they want to go for. It's just a very standard control mage in the mid lane. This is what they want to go for. It's because 100 Thieves started out as a somewhat unorthodox team with so much emphasis on the side lanes, on a roaming mid lane, that now that people have gotten used to it, well, you want to have that also standard point. So I think a big focal point will be how well can Damonte do as Orianna? He has done really well in control mages. Yesterday against PoE, he was playing the Syndra. He kept up in farm, found some roams. Yeah, he got picked in the mid lane with a good sword art roam, but keeping up in farm, strong team fighting, and good mechanics is really all that you want to see out of him.
Okay, a Blaze Olive going in for the early trades against Damonte at level 1, and Tristana is very, very powerful in those. Turns out, at level 1, most champions' trading capabilities is just their auto attacks, and when Tristana gets increasing returns on those auto attacks after tagging somebody with an E, very difficult to trade effectively against her. So a Blaze Olive happy with how that trade went. Fine with just taking off some extra HP from Damonte, getting an extra charge out of his Corruption Potion nice and early on here. And looking at Golden Guardians games, let's go ahead and let's not sugarcoat anything. Let's just talk about the facts here, because the facts are everybody focuses Niles, and Niles has not been having a good showing here so far. So what I really want to see from this team is for Niles to not be in those kind of spots, or if his opponents are constantly going to focus him and always put this target on his back, the rest of the squad, and Iconic in particular, needs to be able to back him up and make sure that Niles doesn't get thrown in the dumpster right from the get-go.
Well, speaking of the dumpster, Damonte trying to climb himself out of it in the mid lane. That trade that he took level 1 was terrible, and now he has no prio in this lane, not running TP, so he burned that exhaust, and we'll see what a Blaze Olive can do with this. He's going to ward the Raptor camp, so now they know where Olaf is at. And yeah, I think your point on Niles is spot on. Golden Guardians has just been losing gold in the top side because he keeps dying to these ganks in a lot of places that he shouldn't. A lot of those kills are on him, but on the flip side, it's not like Golden Guardians have had an easy time making any plays happen in other lanes. So all I'm saying is if you don't know where to go on the map, if you're not finding anything, well, you know the enemy team keeps picking on Niles, so maybe you can make something counter-ganking for him. If he keeps being such a beacon of attention in the top lane, there's a good chance that a good turn can actually swing the game in your favor.
Okay, Closer's continuing to just power clear through all of these camps as Olaf likes to do. Lilia doing the same thing. They'll both find themselves down here on the bottom side of the map, but it's Lilia who clears the camps out first and will have priority over the Scuttle Crab. And Iconic should successfully take this one, especially considering the state of mid lane, man. A Blaze Olive having that full control, all that prio you were talking about, he can guarantee that he's the first one over to the fight. So Closer will not be able to go towards this crab even if he wanted to. As we can see some on my way pings coming out. They're aware that Iconic may want to show up here and steal away this Raptor camp. He has the ward on it. He sees that Closer is here. I wonder if he tries to just prance over there. And okay, he doesn't have the smite. Never mind. I was going to say, if he had a smite, he might try to steal away the big chicken. But he says, nope, just want to go back, get the cooldown boots, get back out onto the map.
Yeah, and the Lilia is also capable of just farming her own camps and speeding away from the Olaf in farm that way. So she's fine getting that quick reset, knowing that the Rel was also MIA, so not willing to risk it. When you got the double marksman, you know you always have a really powerful late game, so I think Golden Guardians is counting on that here. It's just that it is really difficult to execute because the peel isn't very good. The CC isn't ideal, so you really want those levels for the Tristana to have better range, so that the Sivir's boomerangs can bounce around and put her out of harm's way from what the Orianna and even the Aatrox Olaf can do, because Olaf and Aatrox can just run at a Sivir. She can be fast, but once you get tagged with a single slow or that speed fades away, these champions that just run at you have a really easy time against picks like Sivir, who don't have a move to jump away.
Well, Someday has a very large wave built up here that will now just about crash into the turret, but Niles is going to do his best to freeze that one just outside of the range. Of course, this does give Someday the opportunity to get behind enemy lines here a little bit, throw a control ward down in that brush next to the Krugs, which will help them track Iconic as he continues on that farming path. Niles doing a good job trading into Someday thus far, taking those quick trades here on the Gragas that he's so effective at doing because of the way that Body Slam overrides other movement abilities and just knocks you back and stuns you there for a brief second. It's so very easy for him to just make those snappy trades and back away.
Get some good trades there, but the Aatrox still gets good vision, and I love to see deep vision, especially deep control wars, because that sees the Krug, sees a little bit of the lane, and now you know that, well, Lilia's definitely not in the top side. You probably see her bottom, and because Closer is down here, we're going to have our first potential 3v3. You'll just be a little bit of a cheeky poke onto the bot lane. 100 Thieves, again, not willing to commit. Not only do they not have the first move, but Tristana continues to be relentless into the mid, jumping on Damonte.
Oh no, Damonte's eating a lot of damage here. Luckily has the exhaust ready to go so that a Blaze Olive cannot get the full damage of the E combo plus the R for the execution there. But that was a scary situation, forcing out that summoner spell. Damonte is going to have to get used to playing off the back foot here in this matchup as Niles once again gets aggressive towards Someday. He's the one who's killed off more minions. He's the one who's got the level 6 first. So it's Someday's job to just say, all right, fine, fair enough, step back and wait for that wave to collide with the turret, farm it up, and get on even ground once more. FBI down in the bottom lane, trading here back and forth with Stixay just a little bit. Remember that Rel and Kai'Sa are so very powerful if they engage, so keep your eyes on Newbie to be able to properly stop that if the 100 Thieves bottom lane duo down here decides they want to go in.
You have to. If you did not stop the Rel engage with Janna, why did you even pick the Janna?
Oh no, well there you go. Why'd you even pick the Janna? The damage comes out and Newbie goes down. Even though he threw out the tornado, it didn't stop the CC, but Niles shows up here with a teleport. FBI wants to try to take down Stixay if he can. FBI likely to die, and there you go, baby. Niles says take a drink, and he evens up the game.
He saves the bot lane, but at what cost? He is giving so much in that top side. Some days getting so much work, and yeah, you don't have bush control, so you face check the Rel and then die for it. That's really that simple. You had no business face checking there with the range disadvantage and the minion wave. Even though Niles does not get to pump everybody really far back and only gets one kill, still gets something nice, and it's unfortunate though that the kill doesn't go over to the carry, because this Gragas is not going to be a carry. He's just a full tank. You want the gold to be on your Sivir, to be on the Tristana. It's what the composition really wants to do, and now we're going to have that 8-minute Rift Herald swap. The Kai'Sa is not here, but Rel, Olaf, and Aatrox are in the top side, and since the Golden Guardians bottom lane does not have all their summoners, they could look to gank them.
Man, I feel like that takes the wind out of the sails of the Janna pick so much. If this pick can't even stop Rel from being able to engage on them in a 2v2 and get the kill, how is it going to perform in a 5v5 situation when things are that much more complex and fast-paced? I was a doubter of the Janna to begin with, and my opinion has not changed after seeing that first blood in the bottom lane. Newbie is going to have to be on point with these disengages, because if he just continues to go in and land his CC whenever he wants, the pick was completely pointless.
Well, you took the words from my mouth, Flowers, because I don't like Janna either. And the reason being is that right now the game is so fast and explosive with damage that being first to move, nice recall, being first to move and start a fight is really important. Janna cannot be first to move. She cannot punish somebody that is caught out of position. When you see the jungler by himself doing silly things, overextended with his lanes recalled or not pushed, Janna cannot kill him, cannot get anybody else to be around him. And because of that, 100 Thieves can get away with playing a little bit more loose, making more mistakes that Golden Guardians can go without punishing, and thus the Janna becomes a much more reactive pick. And in the game that favors speed, assertiveness, reacting to the enemy too much. Wait a minute.
A Blaze Olive is going right in there, trying to just get up in the face of the Olaf, and he would have won in a 1v1, but League of Legends is a team game, and Damonte shows up to take the kill, to help his jungler, and to put a Blaze Olive in the dirt.
I love so much that we started this game with the SOT between Damonte and a Blaze Olive. Because a Blaze Olive is saying, yeah, you know what, he probably thinks he's the better mid laner, which is going to allow me to make those big plays. So he had the pressure constantly in the mid lane. He felt like he had to make those big plays. Lo and behold, the moment he goes for it, not even against Damonte, it is Damonte that comes in and really ruins his day. It's a really heads-up move there, though, by Closer to instantly turn for the smite. Had he not done that, he would have died, even if Damonte would have made it. So that's just first great mechanics by Closer, and unfortunate timing for a Blaze Olive, because just a second away and he would have gotten a really nice kill.
And the other phrase that I want to bring up from that shot is almost the closing thoughts that we got out of a Blaze Olive. He was talking about because he believes that Damonte thinks he's the better mid laner, that means Damonte will overstep his bounds. He will try to do too much. He will overplay his hand, and that's when a Blaze Olive can punish. But is that not exactly what a Blaze Olive just did? He tried to do too much. He went in and jumped on top of Olaf's head around the Raptors without knowledge of where Damonte was, and he pays the price for it. He had so much of an advantage here in this mid lane, and now that death has evened things out quite nicely here for the side of 100 Thieves. Some days going in, trying to trade very aggressively onto Niles, and does about 20% of his health with all 3 Qs, so the big man is not worried at all.
So what you're telling me is that a Blaze Olive is projecting onto a Damonte there, because he's
based
the one
on that
feels
play.
Like he needs to be assertive here in this game. Although it's now 100 Thieves really grouped up there between Olaf and the Rel. They're both with their ultimate, so this is a really dangerous combination that I would not want to face check if I am Iconic. This Deer is playing with fire there. Hui with Flash will not hesitate to engage. Let's see if 100 Thieves can pull something off. Someday is ready with the TP, and he has it up a few seconds before Niles as well.
We've still got a few moments left on this Rift Herald. You can see it in the inventory of Closer. It's about to fade away. 100 Thieves are going to have to use this here soon. Just grab 2 plates with it. Drop it somewhere to grab the 320 gold. Just don't let the damn thing expire. Closer is walking up here into the top side with Hui. They'll try to use it up there. Needs to use the 1 second channel time. There you don't go. Okay, we have a pause instead, and that means we do not get to see Shelly charge towards the turret, but that's what's going to happen once we get back into the game.
Yeah, well, 100 Thieves being very assertive here in Golden Guardians. You knew they were going to be playing entirely defensive when they drafted Janitress Sivir, so hopefully they learn from the first game of the day with TSM picking this crazy scaling comp and don't take unnecessary fights and just hope that they scale, farm up to get the items on the major carries and then take fights then. So if they know that that's how they need to play the game, then we should go into a very tranquil mid game.
Well, I just want to see the junglers get involved in some stuff because, yes, Closer has an assist, but that's because a Blaze Olive jumped onto him and tried to murder the dude. Neither one of the junglers has been actively pursuing a whole lot so far. Yes, 100 Thieves does have the Drake here for themselves. Iconic has slightly more farm than his opponent, but I want to see these guys really try to make some aggressive moves and get the ball rolling here.
So let me tell you about the jungle right now. It's a little bit different in 11.4, but when you're up against Lilia, it is really annoying to try to make plays on the map because she's so fast that she can start stacking the clears on your side of the map that you cannot avoid her. So Olaf is thinking, I need to power clear or else Lilia is going to outpace me and take my camps as well. So he's power clearing while Lilia is doing the same thing, hoping to get ahead of the Olaf. So they're all trying to get ahead of each other, farming, and it's just because the camp spawns so fast that they don't want to go to any other lanes or lose, or rather risk losing some more camps. That is why 11.4 shifted some gold and experience away from the jungle camps, because this farming game got too out of hand and was taking the junglers away from the lanes and too much in the jungle.
Well, hopefully we get to see a little bit more PvP once we get back into the game. I will update y'all if I find out what the situation, reason, explanation, whatever for the pause is. Right now, I do not know, but we'll have to try to keep track of that for you as best as we can. In the meantime, this game has a lot of potential to go either way. Again, we know that Golden Guardians is one of those squads that's been struggling a lot recently, but particularly a Blaze Olive on the Tristana having a good lane phase for himself is pretty promising. Shelly gets off the charge. We're back into the game. Never mind who needs an update. We are playing here yet again. Shelly charging in ends up evening out the gold here in this game for 100 Thieves.
And just a tactical pause there, but the gold being very close, it is promising here for Golden Guardians. However, I just have not been very impressed by all their members' mechanics. Blaze Olive will be fine, though. There's nobody here in the area. It's the exhaust once again. Unfortunate for him, really finding it difficult to engage onto Damonte, who has gotten so much value from that exhaust against Tristana. Yeah. And even with the Seeker's Arm Guard, making those all-ins even less likely. He's farming well, doing his job, helping the team. I think the narrative of Demonte as a weak control mage player is actually false. He seems perfectly fine here. What else do you want?
Yeah, it's going just fine for him. I mean, aside from the level 1 where he decided to walk up and trade with Tristana, which was kind of an int, like that shouldn't have happened, just underneath the tier 1 turret, it doesn't matter. But now things are going all right. Ever since the Tristana overextension near the Raptor pit trying to kill Olaf, things are going all right. Someday has moved into the mid lane here. He'll defend this tier 1 turret against the push coming in from Stixay and Newbie. Worth pointing out, though, only 25 seconds left for those turret plates to stay on the map here. And with 100 Thieves taking the first turret of the game there in the top side after using that Rift Herald, they're the ones that currently have the 1,000 gold lead.
Here's where things are gonna get exciting because 100 Thieves is starting to complete their first major items. You've got the Gale Force, the Gore Drinker already here. So with these items, they will be really interested in taking these fights. Although Golden Guardians have the priority, it's once again a team that doesn't have a good way to pick somebody off or engage. So 100 Thieves could still feel confident despite being late to the party.
Okay, bowling ball flies out, only finds its way onto Closer. Both top laners making their way down, but it's Niles who's here first. Throws out a barrel. Closer's found himself in the front lines here. Boy, you're down to about a third HP. You better be careful who he's going in for the initiation onto 2. Bringing out the Magnet Storm, trying to lock these guys down, but it does not work very well. 100 Thieves just need to back away from this one. It's looking like Closer is way too low to even participate in the fight. Golden Guardians win themselves the Drake by properly focusing the enemy jungler and making it so he cannot do anything in any sort of a fight afterwards.
And it's clear they actually thought about how they wanted to play these fights, which was really good. When you're dealing with these kinds of compositions that don't have ways to engage, it's all about peel, you need to premeditate how the fight is going to break out. So they saw that who he went in, and while the cask wasn't that big, Niles' ultimate did do some work in stopping the Rel engage from being comboed. So nobody there was able to follow up. She gets to get away, and once all the initial engage fades away, the Janna disengage seals the deal for Golden Guardians since they can continue to keep their distance with their marksmen against the 100 Thieves melee-focused lineup. So I like that Golden Guardians is using the Janna well. Since the first time we saw the Janna, we barely even got to see him Monsoon that whole game. So here, spamming those abilities, once you get the healing as well, will be really interesting to see how effective this champion can be against these kinds of diving comps.
Still got ourselves a really close game. Still got ourselves a low-octane kind of game. Nobody's trying to force the issue. Both sides seem to be fine, just farming up. Tristana with the Kraken Slayer completed right now. You can see it in your inventory. And let's take a look at the total gold here on the left side of the screen. It's FBI 1,000 out in front of the next closest person. He was the one being given the plate money. He was the one being given the turret money. He's also got the assist under his belt and a 15 CS lead. So naturally it makes sense that he's that far ahead. A Blaze Olive, Demonte, Iconic, Niles, Closer, all of them just behind there in around the same area, but it's still just FBI who's so far out ahead of everybody. Also want to point out, Demonte's first item in this game is the Zhonya's Hourglass, so he'll be able to drop aggro in these big team fights and might be able to catch Golden Guardians off guard, as 100 Thieves will summon up the second Rift Herald of the match, using that one to try to take down the Tier 1 turret. Gets it low, but they don't want to commit to take it out here just yet.
The Zhonya's really makes Demonte a defensive target right now, though. Not really somebody you would want to prioritize. So much of this fight is now going to be onto FBI, who has gone with the full damage build. So he's just keeping himself safe now and will be probably playing side lane duty more than anything. Somebody has to answer a Blaze Olive, and here they will try to catch him. He's got flash, has ultimate, but Olaf is also on the way. He already burned it. I think this Chris is dead.
Yeah, he's in a bad spot. I don't know how this poor little Yordle's going to get away from that one. He's trying to run. The ball shows up. The Ragnarok comes down. Okay, never mind. That's how he gets away from it. That's why I'm not a professional player, as now they're mounting the counterattack. Demonte buying a moment here with a stasis, but he's still going to fall over. Golden Guardians grabbing their second kill of the game, and they turn the play around.
I'm surprised. Once you get the flash, you can just get out of there. The axe missed. There's no way you're actually killing the Tristana once she burned everything. And Golden Guardians had everybody there willing to collapse. The Sivir ultimate being very good at reaching that fight. They'll get a turret for it, saving the Tristana. Even got a teleport out of Someday. That could be big for the next fight. No flanking on this Aatrox for this Dragon fight, so we'll have to see everybody grouped. Let's see how this all played out once again. So 100 Thieves run straight at him, Good disengage there from a Blaze Olive, but let's see how the rest of the team collapses, because Janna and Civ are already making it here. When should 100 Thieves have disengaged? I think right here. I think, yeah, continuing to run once the axe misses is, I think, the error, because maybe he could have walked up a little bit closer and commit there, but all in all, you get a kill to a Blaze Olive and you lose the Monte. Big win for Golden Guardians.
And Golden Guardians keeping the game nice and close, getting that turret, tying that count up. But another different element of the game that's also tied is those Drakes, and the third one's coming up here in about 60 seconds. It's 100 Thieves with men in the river right now. They've got the Scuttle Crab control. They're laying down some wards, trying to make sure that they have prio over this zone, as Iconic will pick up the blue buff. Might want to just hand that one over, but we'll see if Golden Guardians come to contest this one here right now. Someday is in the mid lane, doesn't have a teleport to be able to join up with this. A Blaze Olive is pushing down top, but he has TP to join up if Golden Guardians want to fight. Niles might be caught out here. No, he can just body slam away. He's just fine.
I think they're going to trade. There's no one that can really face check. Once Gragas cannot be here, Tristana can just commit for a tier 2. It's not soul point, so it's not too bad. Aatrox has to answer since he doesn't have TP, so I think Golden Guardians is happy to just give more gold over to a Blaze Olive and give up the Dragon.
Well, Someday's going in. He's looking for the 1v1 here against the Tristana, who jumps right into the Q3. That was not the play.
Yeah.
Not when Q3 is ready,
the
man.
list of possible plays, that one was not it.
Not when
Jumping into
Q3
the
is
Aatrox
ready.
with Gore Drinker. You don't even have a healing reduction. The man's got a ton of healing, so you don't know. You not only don't get the tier 2, but you don't get the Dragon. And this is the kind of thing that you really don't need to see from Golden Guardians. I think you've had a good objective there. I don't think you can kill him just because of the healing reduction aspect. That's the one thing. Because Someday has Flash, because you don't have healing reduction, I don't think that's a play you can actually go for a Blaze Olive.
Well, it didn't work out. It cost them a Drake. It cost them a kill. And 100 Thieves are happy to take it. They will keep the tier 2 Turbot alive in the top lane as well. Of course, it is low on HP now. And a Blaze Olive still has the teleport ready to go. So it's time for him to keep on marching it down the top lane, keep applying that split push pressure. But if they keep giving away kills, well, split push pressure only works if nobody can answer you. As soon as somebody's able to answer, if Someday can just go up there, bop you on the head, then there's not really a real threat there. Now, is there?
He's trying so hard to be the threat, to make something happen, because the comp does not make anything happen. There's so few synergies to actually engage, so he feels so much of it. And again, him feeling like he needed to do something. And I think a big part of it was seeing how good Perks was on Tristana. Really, he was doing so much yesterday against Dignitas. It felt like Trist was the mid lane that you wonder, like, why wasn't everybody playing Trist all the time if this is what can be done when it's piloted properly? And a Blaze Olive taking some inspiration, farming well, just not getting the kills.
Now Someday is going in yet again. The man is off to the races, Crumbs. He's got a 30 farm lead. He is up a level on his lane opponent. Someday is doing what Someday does best, and he is running things from the top lane here in this game. Almost 200 farm. Top in the charts here, there. Only the 80 carries are above him, and by 80 carries, I mean Kai'Sa and Tristana. Sivir's still down there right around the same point that he is. So this Aatrox will be a big threat going into the team fights. And speaking of team fights, when are we going to see one?
Hopefully very soon, but when you got a Janna that is not interested in team fighting, Golden Guardians is the antithesis of the action that we deserve in this game. So maybe we'll see it around this Dragon. It is going to be Infernal Soul for 100 Thieves. I don't think Golden Guardians wants to give that one away. They could use it to buy some more time. I don't think they can go for a Baron unless they have both their carries since they've got the Kraken Slayer. But unless it's major objectives, Golden Guardians is probably just going to be playing the scaling card as often as they can.
I hate that card. That is the worst card in the deck.
Let's
see if they can do anything in the meantime, or if they just want to allow it to scale up. 2 items on a Blaze Olive, 1 item and some change here on Stixxay. Across the side, you've got Collector now completed for FBI, so he's on the 2-item power spike here. Kai'Sa could be very, very scary if given the opportunity to pop off here in these fights. What do you want to see 100 Thieves do from this position, Crumbs? Because they're the squad that's now up to just about a 2,000 gold lead. They have the lead in terms of the Drakes. If Golden Guardians wants to refuse to fight, if Golden Guardians is saying, okay, we scale up to 4 or 5 items and then we'll win the game, how do you push the issue as 100 Thieves?
So going for Baron right now is a possibility, but you also do risk the chance that you lose a fight here and give it to Golden Guardians. So I would play another Dragon card here out of 100 Thieves. You're invading here, and it's fine. You have enough backup here, but looking for a fight, I would go for it for the Dragon, although Golden Guardians wants FBI.
Okay, Golden Guardians going in, deciding to go after the fight. They find FBI there with a sleep. Nice Gragas cast getting after him here, but the Killer Instinct resets his position and keeps him safe. Niles now walking away here from the rest of the team as Someday will be zoned away by a Blaze Olive. Neither side's going to lose anybody. Both sides using a couple ultis here in the fight. Bowling Ball won't find anybody afterwards. FBI used his heal, he used his ulti. Someday used a TP. That's just about it. On the other side, yes, it was a Sivir ulti, Gragas ulti, Lilia ulti, but nobody was using tons of summoner spells here in this fight.
That's the big one, the summoner spells. And it's big because the Dragon was not up. It's still a minute about it. So all those cooldowns will be back up, except the heal from FBI, but he's still so tanky, so he should be fine for this next fight. And you're saying, what do I want to see out of 100 Thieves? Well, I want to see a fight around the Dragon that involves multiple flanking angles, because this composition that wants to disengage can do so easily if you're all coming from the same side, which is what we saw in that first Dragon fight where they disengaged so well. If you can strike from multiple positions, Huhi and Someday specifically, comboed with the Monte can be really dangerous, because then the FBI, Kaisa, can reposition to any member that catches somebody out of Golden Guardians. So they're getting deep vision, they're putting the Rel behind the backlines, even the Aatrox is here, so they know what they need to do. It's about Golden Guardians if they recognize that this is a really dangerous position for them.
TP showing up. Golden Guardians bringing in their top laner here, ready to fight for the Drake if need be. Throws out the barrel, Void Seeker going in. Gragas ulti does not knock Demonte the correct direction, and Niles has to flash over the wall to stay alive. 100 Thieves trying to get themselves away, but a nice 3-man sleep's coming in. Stixay's going after the kills. Flash away, coming out with the smite to stay alive. Nicely done by... No! I was about to compliment you, man. 100 Thieves loses their jungler. Niles continues to press forward, and Golden Guardians, off of the 3-man sleep from Iconic, will earn their second Drake.
Slow and steady wins the race for this composition, and the play's not done yet. They could go for Baron if they want to. I mean, you do have double carries with Kraken. They're not going to go for it. Olaf was dead. That's the kind of move, though, that I think Golden Guardians could have done if they're really risky there, because they all base. So if you thought that you had enough time to burn it, they could have gone for it. They won't do it, though. They feel very confident now with these double marksmen really scaling up, since they're dealing with the front line so well. And already 2 fights in a row, they play fairly well. Niles tried to catch the Monte out, but he ended up being the initiator. So because 100 Thieves commit so much for him, Someday starts to flank, and then the fight falls apart for 100 Thieves, since now they've all given away their position, started using ultimates, and gotten nothing for it.
Okay, so I want to say right now, I understand going for Kraken Slayer and even getting the Essence Reaver second. It all makes sense. But if Stixay's next item is not Executioner's Calling, I'm going to be disappointed. Sivir will have the ability to apply those Grievous Wounds so freely to both of these Gore Drinker plus Healing Amplification frontliners. I think that this item is practically a freebie at this point in terms of incomparable value, because look at the rest of the team. You've got the Oblivion Orb on the Lilia, that's nice. Thornmail on the Gragas, it's nice, but you got 2 different marksmen here and no Grievous Wounds on either one of them against Olaf Aatrox frontline. I really want to see Executioners on the Sivir, hopefully. But again, time will tell. Golden Guardians on the defensive once more here in the mid lane, trying to keep the tier 1 turret protected. Gold still not even 1,000 apart, 27 minutes in, only 6 kills in this match. Other games are ending at this point, but both teams are just okay playing this one slow and steady.
They are, and it favors Golden Guardians. You have those double marksmen. The engage has been already thwarted twice. I'm liking their odds thus far, and it's not what I would have expected. I mean, we started with 100 Thieves claiming best team in the league, lose to TSM, now even in the mid-game against Golden Guardians. Maybe some hubris here, but I'd like to see them, again, find those really clean flanks, though, because they are getting outplayed in these fights, and it seems like they're having a hard time dealing with how easy it is for Golden Guardians to just peel. Once you go in with your Olaf ultimate, Rel, and even Kai'Sa, if they can disengage, you're never getting in again.
Niles going in here, but he jumps away, so Golden Guardians will not pursue this any further. Now let's see if 100 Thieves can find an opportunity for a counterattack. Sivir ulti forced out as Stixxay loses half HP. Damonte trying to find an angle here on the flank, but there's no such thing to speak of. 100 Thieves will manage to chase their opponents away, but the 80 carry already heard. It's 100 Thieves making the call to go for Baron. All right, Crumbs, we got some spice in this game finally.
I don't know if they're committing for it just yet, though, because Iconic can steal. This could be the opportunity, although Someday and Huhi are on a flank. I think they want the fight, but Golden Guardians knows what's up.
Oh, they're going in for it. Someday's going to be here on the front line. TP coming in. Niles has arrived. Huhi going to be taken very low, thrown up into the air by the Tornado. It's 1 kill for 1 kill here so far. Top laner for the support. Sleep coming in. Someday's now your focus as Iconic goes into the stasis, staying alive. A little bit more damage goes through. Damonte's finding the damage on that one, but the shutdown goes over to a Blaze Olive. 4 dead on 100 Thieves. Golden Guardians takes them out here in the team fight, and now they're the ones going after the Baron.
Damonte's got a base. He's not even going to be able to threaten anything here. Golden Guardians is playing these fights beautifully, Flowers. That fight, I actually really love Niles' ultimate. I think it interrupted FBI right when he was ulting in, and so he was not able to deal enough damage when he initially went in to follow up his diver, so the carries were able to dish out enough. So let's watch Niles, because he's here by himself alongside Iconic. They see Someday right away, but then watch this ultimate. Bam! Stops FBI, so he's not able to actually participate, or the rest of the team. And then the Janna is in the back, but you have 2 carries that haven't been focused. So much has done from the back line, and then Iconic with a really nice bait there with the W and the Zhonya's. It looked like he was just running it down to buy time, but the stopwatch caught everybody off guard.
Very well done by Golden Guardians. Really working hard trying to get this second win of the split for themselves. Sitting on a 1-7 record, every win matters. Because remember, this is not the memes from last year. Spring Split doesn't matter. XD, haha, Keck W. None of that's real. Not anymore. Your record follows you all the way to the end of summer and qualifies you for that end of summer tournament, which determines who gets to go to Worlds. Every win matters, every loss matters, and Golden Guardians are in a spot to grab that win here. But they got to make sure they keep this game moving along cleanly. They have control over the bottom side river. They'll go for the Drake, and this will move them up to Soul Point if they acquire it. Niles going to be taking the damage here from 100 Thieves on the bottom side of the fight. But the rest of the Golden Guardians squad already has the Drake secured, and now they're walking as a unit back towards mid.
Okay, and these double carries no longer have their Sivir ultimate, so it could be the opportunity that 100 Thieves wants. If they commit for the base turret here, the inhibitor turret would be the one where the flank happens since they have to reset. Looks like Golden Guardians will just back off and try to establish some more control on this map. There's not a tier 2 here, but there is a big wave and blue buff, so at least escorting a Blaze Olive here could divide the Baron up into 2 lanes and get Golden Guardians into some split pushing action on a 4-1 right now.
All right, Golden Guardians, you've got about just under a minute left on this Baron buff. Let's see if they can take anything else here with it. Pushing up the top lane, pushing up the mid lane. A Blaze Olive constantly on that split push duty, using the power of the Tristana. Now let's see if the rest of the Guardians can get something done here in the mid lane. A little bit of damage down onto the tier 3, but nothing more. Demolish was not able to be procced. They couldn't stay around the turret for long enough. 100 Thieves just trying to do everything they can to hold the line here for another 30 seconds.
They can still wombo combo. You have to respect that Huhi and Damonte grouped up can engage against this heavy disengage comp that Golden Guardians has. So as long as they have their eyes on those two, they should be fine. And this siege is difficult because it's not a Tristana, it's a Sivir that's short range, and it's kind of what 100 Thieves really wants. It wants Sivir to walk up, get close, and then put themselves at a spot to engage. But a good boomerang actually harasses Damonte enough. But the Baron's fading. There's no need to overextend. You can just use it for the quick recall, take the camps to steal, and reset. Golden Guardians is inching closer towards a winning position in this game.
And I really, really like Iconic completing this Morello Nomicon, because I was talking about the importance of Grievous Wounds earlier. Remember, when you fully complete the Grievous Wounds items after the item revamp, it goes from 40% healing reduction to 60% healing reduction, which is a really big improvement. So that means that as long as he's hitting these frontliners with those spells that are on such a low cooldown and such a high AoE, it's very easy for him to control the healing of both Someday and Closer to an extreme degree. Really like this choice coming out of the Golden Guardians here. 5,000 gold lead now, 2.5 minutes till they can potentially grab themselves an Infernal Soul. What is the path for 100 Thieves here, Crumbs? Because they're now really far back, and it seems like they can't win a team fight.
And they knew what the path was. It's just getting a lot harder from the range and itemization that the carries have. So already what they should know is that you can only win a fight if you kill a Blaze Olive and Stixxay. The other three members are fairly insignificant. They can kill you, but it takes way longer than how you can kill them. So they need to make sure that those are the two members that they commit for. Niles has been focused a few more times because he's been really far out there as the tank for the team, but I would say look past Niles. Don't use much on him. You have to be able to get a Blaze Olive and Stixxay, otherwise you're losing the fight. And if anything, you could even get a half inspired engage to get some of the cooldowns of Golden Guardians out if you can, and then look for the fight, because at a even everybody has their ultimates, seems like Golden Guardians is getting the better of them.
Okay, we now have a 5-item FBI. Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, Collector, Gale Force. He's got the Berserker Greaves too. The man is incredibly strong. If FBI is able to free fire onto these guys, it could be a win condition, but he just hasn't had that opportunity here just yet. Someday also going for the Death's Dance to reduce some of the physical damage, knowing he's up against those two big marksman threats. But man, this game is so scary right now. You can see a Lord Dominic's Regards coming out now for Stixxay as well. Both of the marksmen on Golden Guardians prioritizing this item, recognizing they're up against these drain tanks that want to build Gore Drinker and Sterix and just have a ton of HP, and it makes it so easy to do extra damage to them. You can see a Blaze Olive just firing a couple bullets there into Someday, taking him down to 40% health.
It's scary, but this is the position 100 Thieves wants to be in. They want to have a control mage wombo combo to be how they win the game. This is why you're playing these kinds of compositions, so that you can maybe fall behind, you can afford not to get an early lead because your composition doesn't do so, and then you can still find the fight. So 100 Thieves kind of testing themselves out here. 25 seconds for this Dragon. Someday has just base, but doesn't have any deep wards to TP to. Only that one at blue buff, and maybe the lanes in the bottom lane. They'll have to engage from the front. There's still that one in the back, but let's see if the combo can happen, because a wombo combo from Huhi and Damonte will instantly delete the carries if Kai'Sa follows up.
Here we go. If this goes over to Golden Guardians, that is an Infernal Soul. Very, very powerful stuff here for this squad. Closer's moving up. Level 15 versus the level 17 on Iconic. It is a smite advantage here for the Golden Guardians. He's going in, trying to tank up everybody, going in for the damage onto Stixxay, who's going to be taken very low, and they grab the kill. FBI is going to stay alive now too. Niles tanking up here from the front line. Dragon still not taken out by anybody. Niles having to flash away. Damonte also low. Golden Guardians retaining control over the pit. They take down the Drake. It's Iconic there for the smite, and Infernal Soul goes over to the Golden Guardians. They'll continue chasing after 100 Thieves. Yes, they lost their AD carry, but their health bars are still all right. Someday's trying to fight back here a little bit, but all of 100 Thieves is stuck around. They're looking to chase after these guys just a little bit further. Closer goes in, and that is exactly what you would expect. Having a Viking fight a dude with a gun. He falls over. It ends up being a 1-for-1, and the Golden Guardians take Infernal Soul.
That's a big win there for Golden Guardians. Yeah, you lost Stixxay, who burned the Summoners, but you got the objective. And so 100 Thieves knows what they need to do. The engage from Huhi is great there, but the Orianna cannot follow up instantly. The Kai'Sa follows up as well, and the stopwatch from the Tristana buys enough time so that she doesn't die. The fact that a Blaze Olive did not get comboed despite being next to the AD was what won this fight, and that's why 100 Thieves is still lingering around. They see everybody really low, and they're thinking, we could still get so much more. FBI is really strong. If we just protect against a Blaze Olive, we won't die. So when Closer walks up, he's thinking he can do a lot more with FBI, but when FBI backs off, since he sees a Blaze Olive, Olaf is left to the dirt. And the Baron is now over to Golden Guardians after the Olaf dies as well, because Baron was up when that dragon fight happened. So Golden Guardians gets a lot more from that dragon fight.
All right, Golden Guardians, man. What a show we're getting out of these guys here. He gets hit by the ulti, and now he's walking away. They pop the Sivir ult going after him, trying to see if maybe they can grab a free kill here, but they shall not. Now, Golden Guardians did already open up that mid lane there. You can see the tier 3 turret is dead from the last Baron buff they had. So now they can decide, do you want to fight an open ground over the exposed inhibitor? Do you want to push up the side lanes instead? It seems like a Blaze Olive is just going to repeat what's been working well so far and set up shop there in the side lane. Has to run back a good ways to get the minion wave. He was down there near the tier 2, and then the minions are off in Timbuktu doing something else. I'm not quite sure what's going on down there, but they got stalled a little bit on some of the enemy minions here, and that means Golden Guardians just have to pump the brakes ever so slightly, wait for a Blaze Olive to get that side lane pushing up and create 2 points of pressure here at the same time.
And you're saying a Blaze Olive is doing what worked really well. GA on the Tristana, absolutely love it. Now you dive her, she lives again, and there's a stopwatch on the Sivir. So the win con that 100 Thieves just executed last time with the Rel engaging onto the carries, bye-bye. You can't do that anymore. You actually cannot engage onto these members and combo them. Even if you do, they will live through it, and so this siege gets really deadly now. 5-on-5, 100 Thieves have no way in that Golden Guardians does not anticipate.
Love what we're seeing out of the Golden Guardians here in this game. They will take their first inhibitor. Yes, it has been slow moving, but this is a development roster. This roster has to take time to get these concepts down, to train these players up, and so far, this is looking like a really clean game, albeit slow, still very clean from these guys. We'll see if they can end it here. They've got another minute left on the Baron, so if they get back out onto the map quickly, they may be able to use that. But the Elder Drake still will not spawn for another 3 minutes. Baron's still not going to be up for even longer than that. So it's all up to Golden Guardians and what they want to do here. 100 Thieves are stuck just having to answer. It's Golden Guardians Rift. 100 Thieves are just living on it.
I don't care if they take 10 more minutes. It would be huge for Golden Guardians, this roster, to take down 100 Thieves. It would actually be ginormous, especially for the organization as well. Flowers, need I remind you, Golden Guardians was the team that this 100 Thieves lineup, except some they were playing under last year. So losing to the development roster would feel so good for this org. And now they are barreling down the mid lane. But Huhi and Some, they know how they need to fight this. Can they actually get the combo up? Huhi has Flash this time.
Okay, they're waiting on this flank. There is a little bit of vision here from the side of Golden Guardians, so they know that their opponents are there now. They'll still continue putting a little bit of damage here onto the inhibitor. Baron just about to expire, and there it goes. Sunday's still here on the flank. Control Ward still sees him, tries to jump forward here. Infernal Chains don't find their way onto Iconic. Golden Guardians don't want to commit to the inhibitor, but 100 Thieves don't want to commit to Golden Guardians. With the next minion wave arriving, Niles is going to step up. A Blaze Olive right next to him here. Look at how much damage Tristana does to the inhib. That is now 2 inhibs down. Golden Guardians looking good, marching it back up to the last remaining lane with a tier 3 turret.
Double inhib and a very fat wave to push it in as well. I don't know if they're going to be able to get this turret. There's a lot of wave clear between the Orianna and the rest of the team, but they're going in.
Oh, they're just going in. They're deciding to go straight in there, man. They pop the Sivir ulti and they're making it happen. Now with that turret out of the way, the inhibitor is the last thing standing here besides the Nexus and its turret guardians. Let's see if they can take this one down. It means double super minions every wave in every lane, and yes, that's the case. Huhi with a big engage. Damonte with a shockwave to rock the world. FBI grabs the kill on Niles. A Blaze Olive's going to be taken down. Beautiful engage from Huhi and a fantastic follow-up from the 100 Thieves mid laner will finally get them a team fight win, but it's so little, so late. They've already lost all 3 inhibitors, Crumbs.
Didn't I tell you that's exactly how they could do it? The Rel combo with Orianna and Kai'Sa going in. If they catch the carries, it's lights out. And they got both of them. I don't know how they were grouped up. Janna didn't even get to use her ultimate. But once they got the positioning, although Stixxay
forcing Someday into the stasis, uses the spell shield, pops the heal for the move speed, but didn't even need it because Death's Dance means you bleed out. With Someday down and Stixxay pressuring the top lane, somebody's got to stay back there to deal with him, and that somebody is Damonte. Now Iconic is still down here on the bottom half of the map. If he goes in and makes a hero play for this Elder Drake, if he goes in and makes a hero play for this Elder Drake, it's down to 2,000, 1,000, slain by FBI. Iconic can't go near that one. Stixxay maintains his presence here in the enemy base, but now pops the ulti to get out of town.
Ooh, okay. I was thinking for a split second there, if Iconic and Newbie stalled out Huhi and the rest of the squad, they would have been able to maybe TP this Tristana in. But here is a beautiful engage from Huhi. Flash W, 3 members, Shockwave and FBI follow it through. Picture perfect there. The fact that Sticks Stay Live was what saved them there. And FBI was really thinking, like, should I flash for this guy? I like it that he doesn't, because flashing and getting that kill wouldn't have actually gotten you anything on the map. You still get the dragon, you still defend the base, and you don't end the game. So keeping your flash up for the next fight, more valuable than getting a random kill. Great heads up thinking by FBI.
All right, Golden Guardians. They got themselves the Elder Drake. The Baron is about to spawn. They'll get this for the 3rd time this game. Niles will play interference here, trying to keep 100 Thieves away. Man, this is so scary, though. This is so much. Look at FBI's inventory. He has 100% crit chance, and instead of boots, he has a Guardian Angel. This is maximum combat power Kai'Sa, trying to hold the line and save the game here against the Golden Guardians. They have their 3rd Red Bull Baron of the game. The bottom lane inhibitor is about to respawn, so they'll likely group up down there to try to take that one down. Looks like Niles is going to do some last-minute shopping before that happens. Grab some control wards, also completes the Randuin's Omen. Everything's good to go. And this should be the game-ending push here for Golden Guardians if they execute correctly.
It's a real test. These late games as a development roster are so tense because you don't want to feel like the game is being thrown away. You are so far ahead, you're in a winning position, got engaged on a single time, but hopefully Golden Guardians is not deterred. They know what they need to do. Mark the Rel. As long as she doesn't get the engage, the wombo combo should be easy to avoid. So I think that they should not feel this worried. They just need to spread out and not get comboed again, since they've done such a good job at avoiding that engage for basically 35, the better part of this game.
Well, let's see if they can do it, Crumbs. Bottom lane inhibitor respawn. About a minute left on the respawn timers for the other 2 lanes. Golden Guardians knows they want that extra map pressure. Just keep their opponents stuck in here. But granted, what is that even earning you? Because you've already got everything. You've got the Baron. You've got all their turrets. You had the Elder, and then it just ended up getting you the Baron, but we didn't really get a fight with the Elder. So now they just have the Baron once again pushing into the base, and they will not step on those stairs.
Oh man, this is the moment you'd almost wish the carries had an RFC. They're so scared, but good poke onto Huhi, and that's a TP onto the Aatrox. If they can just disengage here, they'll be able to get away from the threat of 100 Thieves and then go back. You still have a minute on Baron.
Okay, Iconic finds Someday. Just a little bit of trade back and forth here between these two, not a lot. Niles over the wall, slows down Closer. It's not like you're going to get a pick onto Olaf. If nothing else, he can always Ragnarok and get away. Golden Guardians right back to where they started. Here comes your Gragas ulti, and it just knocks Demonte away. Not quite the angle they were looking for on that one. Golden Guardians continuing to stay pushed forward. Niles takes some damage, has to body slam right back out, and 100 Thieves will maintain the defense. 15 seconds left until that topside inhibitor respawns, and then the 100 Thieves base isn't looking so bad, Crumbs.
This is why control mages are so good. There's nothing that Golden Guardians can do to really threaten anybody on 100 Thieves walking up. It's not like an Orianna where if you walk up, there's a big threat of an Orianna shockwave coming out. So they're really worried about that this time. As long as the Monte's here and holding that line, you can see that that ball was at the turret, and now they finally get to push him back since they have split up the members, making the threat much worse. Oh, good engage.
Oh, okay, here's your engage coming out, and Golden Guardians are going to be shredded if they aren't much more careful than this. Niles having to run away, Closer grabbing a kill on that. A Blaze Olive into the back line, going to be exhausted. Here is the rest of the 100 Thieves chasing down after the Golden Guardians. Guardian Angels coming up here on both sides. Someday looking to slam these boys right back down into the ground, and 100 Thieves are taking that fight. Someday chases after a Blaze Olive, but he's got to be pretty careful here. Tristana's got the range to bring the pain, and Someday's backing it all the way back out. FBI pushes down the mid lane. Here is a one-man army. Golden Guardians takes down the inhib, but they lose the team fight.
If 100 Thieves wins this game, somebody owes a lot to Huhi, because this man keeps finding the best engages for this squad. Bam! Flashing in, 2 members, gets the flash out of the carry, instant follow-up from Kai'Sa and Orianna. Picture perfect, but it doesn't catch the carries, which is why there's still hope for Golden Guardians in this fight. Despite the carries doing so much damage, they're not actually able to take anybody else down. You'd almost wonder what would have happened if a Blaze Olive and Stixay were together, hitting the same targets, would have that actually changed things? Maybe. There's a lot of damage on these marksmen, but no longer do they have summoners or those GAs or stopwatches.
Look at
13K,
What?
dude. That might be the highest
Okay.
damage we've ever seen.
Sivir did almost 14,000. Lilia didn't hit nothing. And hold on, so 334 plus 21 is 55.
More than everyone
85. 1, 10, 2. Okay, so all of 100 Thieves put together does manage to beat Stixay by 1 or 2,000. But holy moly, the damage from this Sivir, dude. Incredible teamfight DPS. Who he's going in once again. Going for the Magnet Storm onto 2. Going to be taking a bunch of damage here as that Void Seeker comes out. You can see Niles running away with half HP. Elder Dragon just about on the table as Golden Guardians have the better health bars here. It's Huhi that's almost dead and has no ulti to engage with, and 100 Thieves have to be respectful of that, but they can't just give over the Elder Drake. Last time around, it was FBI that stole it away here with the Kaisa. We'll see if he can do it again, as the Golden Guardians will try to attempt this Elder Drake. 100 Thieves still hanging out here on the side, ready to go, ready to maybe go in. Elder Drake down to 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, slain by the Sivir, and now 100 Thieves are in a bad spot. Golden Guardians looking to maybe chase after them, but 100 Thieves will disengage.
That would have been a 4v5 if 100 Thieves would have opted into that one. And we know that unless gets a Miracle Engage, they're not winning any fight. So now that the Elder is up, Golden Guardians feels even stronger, and there's still that wave barreling away into the bottom lane, which makes it so much harder for them to wait here and hope to catch Golden Guardians clearing out vision for this Baron. I think they just are going to have to concede this and look for another beautiful engage in the base. Flowers, we're going all the way. 100 Thieves needs to win like 2 more fights in the base to actually push this game and end it.
Last time I said it.
Or else Golden Guardians wins, because we're still hoping that one of these teams gets a team fight win that can end it, but
this is huge. If they actually kill him there, a Blaze Olive.
Oh, no.
He loses the Guardian Angel, but a TP's coming in. Another TP's coming in. Everybody's looking and ready to go. A Blaze Olive going to be taken down, and now Niles finds himself in the middle of 5. Damage continuing to pour through here as Iconic goes into the back line, and Stixay kills off Closer. Golden Guardians keeping themselves in a good enough spot as Iconic is about to fall over, but the man is dancing and prancing and escaping with about 13 health. What in the world is going on?
That is a really good look there from 100 Thieves, but FBI's not by himself. What? They can go kill him. Why would you path that way?
Okay, FBI's up here. Somebody's got to save FBI. He's running away now. Niles continuing the chase. He's going to take a lot of damage. FBI gets out. He's all right. Holy cow.
This Sivir does 14k damage in a fight, all right? She will 2-tap you and has Elder and Infernal Dragon. You need to get away from Stixay.
Okay, let's take another look at how this happens. Blaze Olive just doing what he's done the entire game, but this time, they had his number.
He feels confident, though, because he's got teammates nearby. He just did not know that 100 Thieves was setting up a trap. So when he dies, it looks like 100 Thieves can go all the way and commit for this, but the damage that Sivir does is just insane. You got to remember, you're still dealing with an Elder, so 100 Thieves don't really want this fight if Golden Guardians is hitting back. So as long as Sivir is not there, they're fine continuing to chase.
Okay. Let's see what happens now as Golden Guardians will continue moving forward. Looks like we might have a little bit of a pause on our screen. So we'll get back to that ASAP and see what's going on with that one. But in the meantime, this has been 4 Barons and an Elder Drake. The last time I mentioned it, I misspoke. Kaisa stole away the first Elder. My brain short-circuited and for some reason read that as Kaisa on the red team. That's my bad. I apologize. But this time, we have the Golden Guardians they have an Elder buff, they have a Baron buff, they've got the whole thing, man. They're ready to go. The Elder's going to expire soon, yes, but if you can't end it with this, how do you end it, Crumbs?
Well, when you looked at the matchup on paper, if I were to tell you that Golden Guardians would beat 100 Thieves, we would have probably thought it would have come down to some ridiculous slugfest that went into the very late game. So I think that Golden Guardians is playing for how I would think they would beat 100 Thieves. Bit of a compositional thing. So the big thing is just stay permanently grouped. You really do not need to be pushing in the side lanes anymore. You're getting caught out. 100 Thieves is getting creative with their engages. So mark the engage. Don't start split pushing when you don't need to. The Tristana doesn't have TP, but she's on her way back to the mid lane. But by the time she arrives, they might just have another 45 seconds on the Baron, which will take us all the way back to another objective fight.
Okay, here we go. 51 minutes into the game. It's 91,000 to 86,000 gold. Items are being completed, builds are being completed across both teams. The carries of both squads are fully outfitted and kitted and ready to go. 100 Thieves have to try to defend these inhibs. Bottom lane inhib respawning. It is respawn. Sorry, I read the thing that is frozen there on the left side of the screen a little bit incorrectly. So that means that it's up to Golden Guardians to once again crack this base open. So much pressure here on these carries. 516 farm on Stixay, 540 on FBI, Crumbs.
Yeah, CS doesn't mean anything anymore, although you have full items on pretty much everybody, so you just get to pad these stats, and from now on, both Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves will just look like they're insane in the league with these damage numbers and farm as well. So this is really just a game to ruin all stats. So from now on, when you look at Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves, you have to remember, this is what they've done. This is how they've padded their statistics, by going to an hour and playing double marksman.
All right, let's see if they can end it here. Baron is spawning in 3 minutes. Elder Drake is spawning in 2. Both buffs have worn away, and we're right back to neutral territory again. That means that if Golden Guardians wins this game with a Baron buff, it will be their 5th Baron buff of the game. That is how long 100 Thieves have defended this base, even when they were down 3 inhibitors. That being said, though, 100 Thieves has never even pierced a tier 2 turret of the Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians have been in control for so long. They lost all the tier 1s. So what? After that point, it was never 100 Thieves' game.
And what they're hoping for is Golden Guardians pushes in, tries to get an inhibitor or end the game. You get the engage, you wipe them, and then you push all the way from your base to the enemies and win that way. That's what 100 Thieves has in mind here, as how they can actually end this game with a dub. But it should still be Golden Guardians' territory. Do not split up again unless you see everybody else on the map. Let's see if they've learned their lessons for what 100 Thieves have been up to, though. They see Huhi now. He's been the big culprit, but you got to watch out for FBI. He can come out of nowhere and really delete anybody that's not Niles.
FBI and Stixay both just have the blink and you'll miss it level of DPS that these late game hyper carries can put out. But which one of them will find the angle first? So much of 100 Thieves is up to Huhi and making these initiations happen. Flash over the wall from Newbie to make sure he does not get caught out of position there. Red buff will be given over to FBI. Elder Drake spawning in 40 seconds. Baron spawning in 1 minute and 15. DeMonte and FBI staying close together, making sure they're able to protect one another. Guardian Angel once again up and ready to go here for the Kaisa, here for FBI. On the other side of the rift, you have the Guardian Angel almost ready for a Blaze Olive, but not quite there just yet. No Guardian Angel for Stixay, so if he gets focused and comboed down, the man just drops, and that's it. Golden Guardians will lose a ton of their effective DPS. Some days not over here just yet. Very important for 100 Thieves to keep dodging away from these swirl seeds. Those engages could spell doom and demise for these guys, as Huhi jumps over the wall and jumps right into his own death. Nobody else could follow that up, Huhi. Nobody else was there and ready to go. And 100 Thieves, losing their main initiator, now have to find some kind of a way to stop this. If Golden Guardians get the Elder Drake, Golden Guardians then get the Baron, which means Golden Guardians are in the same spot Golden Guardians have been in for the past 30 minutes, and 100 Thieves keeps having to defend. Iconic's going in looking for the multi-man sleep. The damage is coming down, and Closer's going in, and Stixay's grabbing the kill with the Guardian Angel popping off. Someday trying to tank up here in the front of 5 of Blaze Olive, coming back to life here with the Guardian Angel. FBI diving into the middle of 4, grabbing the kill on a Blaze Olive, now coming back with his own GA. Elder Drake has been secured by the side of the Golden Guardians. FBI going to be taken down next. It's Newbie on the Janna, grabbing the kill on that one. Iconic taken down someday. DeMonte's trying to play it out and kite it out and fight it out, but Stixay is continuing to chase him away. More tornadoes going to be fired off. It is DeMonte versus 3. The Golden Guardians have their chance to end the game right now, and Niles is not goofing around. The man has made his way into the base. He used the teleport for it just to make sure he was there ASAP. It is Tanner time or bust. Damonte must make a hero play here. He has a shockwave in a moment. He's got Huhi back alive. Niles is going in, and Damonte's popping the shield, trying to stay in a good enough spot, but it will not be good enough. And for the second time this split, Golden Guardians puts a win on the record after a 56-minute battle.
They trust the process and beat 100 Thieves? This is a giant upset. This might be the biggest upset we have had all split long. Golden Guardians taking down the... It doesn't matter how long it went. They actually played to their win cons. It's a huge improvement for them. They have to feel elated here. You see, they got to celebrate. On top of that, it's the former squad flowers. You lost 4 players, you brought in 5 new ones, and you still beat them.
Well done to Golden Guardians. I love seeing both the happiness and relief on the players' faces. Being on a record like 1-7, it's rough. It beats on the morale, it beats on the confidence, and then to be able to take a win against one of the squads that was at the top of the table, these guys got to be feeling fantastic. Golden Guardians don't have to post a defeated Knight on Twitter anymore. I'm excited to go on there and see what the Knight looks like when he's kicking ass, because Golden Guardians got their win, second one on the record, and the process has been trusted. But that's it here for this game, and that's it for myself and Crumbs. We're heading into a short break, but once we're back, we're going to be talking to a Blaze Olive in the Verizon post-game interview. Don't go anywhere.
This phone paired with 5G ultra wideband, wow.
The new Samsung Galaxy S21 is on Verizon 5G ultra wideband, available in parts of many cities.
It's ridiculously fast.
Switch and get Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus 5G on us, only on Verizon.
Welcome back to the LCS and the Verizon post-game interview. Here with a Blaze Olive after a nail biter of a game, my dude. How are you feeling? Are we still riding high? Where are the emotions at right now?
I mean, it feels really great. Obviously, the game was a bit of a fiesta at the end, so there's always that fear like, oh, if we lose, it's going to be really, really sad. But I'm really happy that we still won. Bit of a loss streak happened, so I'm glad that we ended off the week on a win.
Oh, definitely. It's going to feel good to close the first round robin on that victory. But within that, you talk about there's that moment in the game where you feel like maybe we should have already won it. You start to get in your head. Where was that in this game? And how did you guys as a team ultimately talk yourselves through that?
I think probably the moment for me when that happened was when we got Elder and Baron, and then we called that we wanted to split, and then I died top lane because they were trapping the bush. That was the moment where I was like, holy, is this really going to happen? Are we actually going to lose after getting Elder Baron? But we kind of reset. We realized that like it's really hard to go into them. Our comp doesn't really have engage, and we work a lot better when they go into us. So we just called like, okay, we're going to have to fight Elder again, and we just reset and managed to stay cool and win the Elder fight.
Yeah, definitely managed to get it done. You talk about the lack of engage on the team, and that's actually one of the questions I wanted to go to next, was the creativity, actually, that Golden Guardians you guys have shown so far in the split. Everything from carry top laners for Niles to the Gragas that he's playing now, 80 carry now in the mid lane for you, and Janna as a support for Newbie being a new pick in the LCS. So where's all this creativity coming from? That's not usually something we see from younger teams.
I think it's like a combination of like players wanting to try stuff out and also like coaches coming up with pretty interesting ideas. The Janna pick was definitely coming from the coach mainly. Nick Smith does it again on that one and gets a dub for us. Kind of like a pick specifically into Rel. It makes it really hard for her to engage, and Rel's really like their only like good engage on that team. So kind of like shuts down, and like Janna has really insane scaling later into the game. So if we kind of just play like kite back and scaling comp, then it works pretty well, and in the times that we tried, it worked really well. As for like me and Niles, we're always trying new stuff. The Trish was something that popped up this week that worked pretty well in the games that we tried it, and especially against 100 Thieves, they don't like playing through mid very often. It's usually either through Someday or through the bot lane. So Trist kind of just gets permanent prowl in any matchup, and the only really counter is just always play through mid. But we didn't really think they would like doing that, so we thought that would be good like team specific matchup against them. So kind of, you know, it's not like all over the place. There's definitely a method to what seems like madness, but I think that we're still trying to figure out like our one definite style and figure out like what we work best on to like get some more wins.
I think that makes perfect sense, right? Golden Guardians was very vocal about how with this roster, you know, the goal was development for each of you as individuals, but for, you know, overall the squad as a team. And I guess under the tutelage of Anero now, that's my final question to you. Is you're a player who's paid your dues, playing under multiple team banners within the Academy League, but now a full starting spot, already a round robin under your belt in just 3 weeks. What's the experience been like going from Academy to LCS? How are you kind of reflecting on your performance in your career so far?
I mean, I'm glad that I'm finally playing in the LCS. I think I was definitely hoping that it happened a lot earlier, but I'm just glad that it's finally happened. I think I'm starting to get it. I'm trying to get over that like first few games of nervousness in the LCS. This is like the first game that was like really insane late, where like multiple Elders and Barons. So like now that that's out of the way, like once it happens again, I'll be a lot more calm and composed, hopefully. So, I'm just really happy that I'm playing in the LCS. I think that the LCS is just such a good environment for improvement. Playing in LCS scrims versus Academy scrims, any of the times I've played, there's like a clear difference. There's the level of play is so much higher that you improve so much faster. And I'm really confident in my own abilities to improve and confident in where I will end up eventually. So I think like it's just a good starting split for me is being on Golden Guardians, where everyone's just trying to make sure that they're improving, getting that consistent improvement in week to week. Maybe the results aren't coming in immediately, but as long as we can tell in the scrims and in the environment that everybody's like learning and improving, then I will feel really confident going in. I won't get like, sad or like nervous that I'm not doing well on stage. I don't think I've been playing like particularly well, but I think I'm starting to finally get over like the nervousness of the first few LCS games, especially this week. So, I'm just really happy to finally be playing in the LCS. It's just so much fun, and I couldn't like be any more happy than playing in the LCS.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And as you say, maybe the wins aren't coming in as frequently as you would expect to or want to at this point. But either way, taking a win off of one of the top teams in the league to close out the first round robin, again, it's got to feel good no matter how it comes. So once again, you've been an absolute joy to watch. The whole of Golden Guardians has been. I want to congratulate you on your victory. And as we head back to the State Farm Analyst Desk to break down that game, Blaze Olive, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for bringing it back to us, Dash. So happy to see a smile on a Blaze Olive's face. He has been grinding his way to the LCS for, I think, been watching him past 6 years or so now, and pulling a victory here today. Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, everyone. I know it feels like it's been ages since you have seen us, and let me tell you, there is a reason for that. Prior to this game, the longest game of the split was 100 Thieves versus CLG in Week 1 at 49 minutes and 48 seconds, but guess what? 100 Thieves topped themselves. It's now this one at whatever the heck game length, 57, something ridiculous like that. But we're going to bring it down to the beginning. We got our analysts, Emily, Mark, and Hai. Let's talk draft, because Gigi brought out something different to play today.
Yeah, so I actually, I know that a few of the casters weren't super happy with the draft. I think it was Crumbs who was mainly critical of it, but I actually do like the Janna pick here. It doesn't work exactly like Janna into Leona, but it's a similar idea, right? Where you have this composition that 100 Thieves is going to be running, that they've shown that they run pretty well, but they're going to be running at you, right? They're going to have to engage onto you. And the Gragas and the Janna both do a really good job of counter-engage. So I actually did want to defend this draft a little bit, because based on, outside of 100 Thieves draft yesterday, based on how 100 Thieves want to play, this is actually a really interesting answer to what we've seen them do. And, you know, we saw it be successful in team fights. Could have ended a little bit more quickly.
many a team fights.
Yeah, I like the Janna as well with the double AD, because then you have multiple targets to throw your shield onto and get you know, your Ardent Sensor procs and these kind of different things off. So it works well with that, and they did a good job of finding AP in the comp still as well from the jungle and top position. So like overall from a comp construction level, this is actually not that bad, and I think that they easily could have ended this game so much earlier. I do not think it should have taken 4 Barons, 2 Elders, whatever else was thrown into the mix there. Like there was definitely opportunities to end this game.
Yeah, let's get High in here. What do you think of this? Not just the draft that was brought to the table, but the way it played out over the length of that game.
I'm kind of conflicted right now, because we just saw that interview with the Blaze Olive where he's super happy to get the win, and I don't want to like crush on the guy's spirits or anything like that, but you know, when I play Tristana, I like to have fun at times, and I felt as if he was more aggressive or, you know, understood the limits of his champion. Like Mark said, that game would have ended a lot earlier. He said himself that he's a bit nervous and he's like a bit afraid to like do plays. But when you look at this damage chart, you got out damaged by Orianna, but you have Fire Soul, you've had multiple Barons, you had 5 items when she had 3. You should be the #1 damage in this game. The fact that you're so low down there, you're right next to your Lilia, you're not actually playing your champion. So I had problems with his positioning, his item build, his lack of going in. But, you know, like he said, he won the game. He's a bit nervous, so I don't want to like harp on him too hard. The draft was good. I'd like to see more Enchanters bot, like Lulu, Janna, basically counter-engage comps. There's pretty much every LCS team is just playing engage support bot, and you can counter that by just picking things like Lulu, Janna, etc. And they scale really well, actually. So I like the draft. The play, not so much, but that's something that can get better.
Yeah, to follow up on that, I think there's a really big push-pull, having listened to coaches and coaches' comms and stuff like this, where you have a team like this who, for the most part, it's younger players or players that are just new to the LCS stage, and you can see it in their minds, right? Where they're like, okay, we got this objective, we're going to back off, we're going to reset, we're going to get this next objective. And it's like going down a checklist when there were several times where they could have just gone in. They have the stronger team fight. They have 2 AD carries. They could have just gone in and absolutely obliterated 100 Thieves, especially after 100 Thieves had already engaged on them. They counter-engage, the fight ends, and they back off, and Golden Guardians could have just gone in and aced them. So looking at this, it is a nice building block for coaching staff to go back and be like, you know, I told you that we're going to be following this very set idea of how to play, but here's where you actually could have ended it a little bit sooner.
I mean, I totally agree with Emily. It did take a while for them to get me my Happy Meal, but at the very least, they got the order right in the end. That's all that matters, right?
Oh, sorry, I'm done.
I have he said in an interview that he's happy that Golden Guardians is improving. And I have a question for like basically the managers of all the teams. When you're picking out your roster and you're building a development team, is it because you think these players are going to improve at a rate faster than the better players, or what? Because every player in the LCS is improving, right? Players like Perks, he should be getting better too. So then the question is a Blaze Olive getting better at a rate than Perks is getting better? Because like if someone's at like a 9 out of 10 and you're at a 5 out of 10, yeah, you're going to improve from a 5 to a 6 or 7. What about with that 9 player? Does he go to a 10, 11, 12, etc.? So I wonder if like it'll end up being that way. I don't really think players hit caps and skills that easily, at least some of them. So I just wonder if like this developmental roster stuff is like going to work out for them, for the teams.
Well, and a lot of things that we've heard from the casters and analysts alike is with a team like Golden Guardians, we're tracking how these players develop game by game, not necessarily the number of wins, but they did get a win here today, which I'm sure they're all feeling very happy about going into the second half of the regular season. We are going to be going to a short break, but when we return, it is Team Liquid facing off against Cloud9, and you do not want to miss that.
Don't let the comfort fool you. Don't let the attention to detail lead you to believe that a Honda is a delicate machine. You'd be wrong. Underneath every surface that carries a Honda badge, there has always been the capacity to amaze. From the core of everything we have ever built, all the way to the top of where you want to go. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Pilot, Passport, and Ridgeline.